What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Knowledge Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be taking a look at this week's forecast, seeing what the stars have in store for us. So, let's get into it. As always, shout out to all the Virgos celebrating birthdays this week. Pay close attention to this energy as it'll be with you all year. So, last week, we had a new moon in the sign of Virgo, kicking off a new cycle where we're able to invite new energy and intentions into our life. And this is a particularly special new moon because of the influx of energy that is in the sign of Virgo. So we're very much so, to some extent, in a one-pointed direction. Our attention should be shifting towards a particular mode of expression, and that is Virgo. So just to reiterate, at this time, we should be focusing on being more service oriented. Maybe to our, wherever this is occurring in your chart. So you want to be more service oriented to your partner, to yourself, within your career, with your children. It all depends, right? You want to become more detail oriented. Pay attention to the finer things, within that area of life. And as well as craft out a more constructive routine that helps you meet these goals. That's really going to be key. So, a lot of times what happens with, Virgo energy and people who don't naturally have it is that they have a hard time accepting the fact that you got to do the work. But this week is a real reminder about that you can't get anywhere without doing the work, and when you do the work, you'll be rewarded. Okay, so where I want to start here is that Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is now within the sign of Virgo, and along with all the other planets here, it's like with the ruler being here, it's like the house and the sign are able to operate at full capacity. Okay, so wherever this is occurring within your life, you should be feeling, more motivated towards taking the desired actions regarding those planets and using that expression to your advantage. Okay, so of course you always have to take into account what is happening in your personal chart. You may have, some natal things squaring this Virgo transit, but at the same time, that just signifies that you're going to be pushed to do what you need to do through just a little bit, of conflict or struggle. But nonetheless, with Mercury here trying Uranus, we're feeling a lot more clear, and our intuition is greatly improved. So it's going to be a week where you really need to pay attention to your thoughts and ideas. And if you have sudden flashes of insights, make sure you don't just let them pass, but you make correct use of them. And that can be simply by writing it down or acting on the idea the moment you get it. As always, the week after the new moon is a time of action. We are in the waxing phase. So whatever goals you've set, this is the time to start going towards those. Okay, so like I said, we can really experience flashes of insight regarding many things. Let's give an example and say maybe Uranus or Virgo is happening in your second house. Okay, or you have some energy going on within houses 2, 6, 10, which really relate to the earthly realms of life and finances and things like that. And let's say like you're budgeting, right? Because that's one thing Virgo's great at, budgeting. And you've set a goal that I want to be able to manifest a particular thing into my life. Well, one way you go about that is like by creating a savings plan, so you can get the insight of saying like, okay, if I save this much per week, I should be able to purchase or have this thing at this particular time. And as simple as it sounds, that is really what Virgo energy is about. It's about practical, you know, thinking and ways of being. So, you know, I'm always suggesting to people and telling them, like, you know, the ideas of spirituality, like the things that we're talking about here in astrology, they can come across rather complex. However, when you know, put creative effort towards them, you see that, you know, a lot of the things can be carried out and improved upon through just really simple practical actions. So I guess another thing at this time I really want to suggest to people is kind of, let's try to get the abracadabra, you know, boom, I'm just going to have a quick solution type of thing out the way, and know that, especially within the realm of Earth, you know, what's going to get it done is, you know, simple, practical, somewhat logical action. But it's your faith that powers that action. It's to make you believe that if I do these things, right? Belief, the key thing. If I do these things, change will come about. So just got to reiterate, you can't avoid doing the work, you know? So like I said, intuition is increased this week. We should be feeling more creative, and our ideas will be, you know, the keys towards manifesting those goals that we set before. Okay? So with that, we also have Sun still here, Mars still here, Venus still here. And Venus is taking the lead within, you know, this conjunction, and is currently, and at the beginning of the week, is going to be in really close aspect with Saturn. Okay? And whenever Venus and Saturn get together, relationships are highlighted. But when they're in harmonious, you know, aspect, this speaks of, you know, really improved relationships within our life. So, you know, whether romantically or platonically, we can just be feeling an overall sense of stability and progress within our partnerships. So, like I said, go back to your goals. What have you set? You know, what is the role of, you know, Venus within your chart? How can you use, you know, your partnerships or relationships with others to help you achieve those goals? All right. And in doing so this week, you know, it can be, other people can be of great benefit to you, whether it be financially, whether it be by leading by example. You know, at this time, we should be looking towards people who embody the characteristics in which that we want to display. So it can be, or you can just run into very Virgo-oriented, you know, people at this time. Another thing with Venus and Saturn coming together is that we're going to see the reality of situations. So, like I said, it's a harmonious time, but at the same time, Virgo does deal with being critical. So we can come across people or, you know, situations in which we feel criticized. However, if you pay attention to what the person is saying, you can learn things about yourself and just learn how to improve. You know, honesty is the best policy, and we all need to, in whatever we're doing, to perfect it or improve upon it, we have to look at it or approach it, you know, with a critical eye. So that's going to be key. Like I said, really evaluate, you know, your partnerships with people. Get out there, socialize. With the influence of Uranus on this particular cycle, you know, our social groups are going to you know, be a major benefit and influence towards us. All right. And, you know, just to hammer home for those of you, you know, seeing somebody or whatever, this is always a good time to, you know, kind of take things to another level, solidify things, you know. So for example, say you've just been dating, right? And, you know, it's getting somewhere where you kind of want to get serious. Remember, Saturn is, you know, like the significator of like marriage and you know, the binding of things. So if you wanted to solidify the relationship, it's a pretty good time, you know, to do that. All right. But like I said, it's going to be, you know, we're going to really be connecting with people in a more progressive way this week. So we got Sun and Mars just behind that. And they'll be coming in an aspect with Saturn a little bit, you know, tighter at the end of the week, falling into next week. But these two planets will be conjuncting And, you know, this Saturn, Mars coming together, sign of Virgo, health is going to be, you know, of utmost importance. You know, I know I've seen many Virgo types, whether it be suns, moons, risings. Many people have caught colds, you know, or feeling a little bit under the weather. This can play out, you know, for, you know, others as well, okay? And because Mars is vitality, you know, to some extent, the sun is vitality as well. So, you know, those coming together, it forces us to take a look at something, you know, within the realm of life regarding our health, okay? And even more so if you've made goals to, you know, kind of stick to a certain diet or, you know, change particular things up. So tying back into what I said with Mercury and paying attention to our ideas, you know, just be conscious, right? Like it's the way these things work is that you set the goal and then spirit gifts you with the information to, you know, fulfill that goal and expand upon it. But there's going to be a clashing of the wills. So say, let's give an example. Let's say, okay, you've made the goal to change your diet, right? As creatures of habit, there's going to be a time where you are tempted and you are like, oh, I want to go back to what I was doing before. But like I said, if you pay attention, you'll come into, you know, some type of insight or information that kind of allows you to be at a crossroads of like, damn, or like a reminder like, damn, I shouldn't do this. I made this vow to do whatever, or just improve upon, you know, the set desired goal. So, you know, health and wellness going to be really, really an important emphasis. If you're feeling under the weather, just take it as a sign that your body is refreshing itself, okay? And then on the upside, we can just, like I said, be feeling more willful, be able to, you know, experience more motivation and courage regarding the things that we do, right? So say this is your 12th house, right? You're going to have more energy and more willpower towards, you know, trying, you know, spiritual pursuits, whether that be meditation, you know, whether that, you know, be going to get energy work or anything like that, okay? Really studying deeper into things like astrology, you know, tarot, whatever, okay? So pay attention to where this is at and use your energy, you know, towards, you know, building progress within that area of life. You know, the more I do these things, I'm just like, it's simple. Because you got to know, like I work with people, I do readings for people and stuff, and with some people I really do see a huge resistance, like a huge resistance to actually do what they need to do. It's like they want to hear something else other than what's like is the plain simple truth. So I don't know, for myself as like the healer or, you know, the sage or whatever, I see it in very simplistic terms. And I always tell people, I don't just, you know, talk the talk, I walk the walk too. So anything I tell you guys to do, I do my damn self, and I believe in it because I've experienced, you know, the changes that come with it. So I just feel the need to really hammer that particular perspective home, you know, that we could collect information, right? Information is knowledge, but without implementing or putting the information or knowledge into action, it never becomes wisdom. Wisdom says like, wow, I've done this, I've seen the effects, and now I'm enlightened or wiser about this particular thing. So yeah, it's like a really good time. And as these planets come and they approach Saturn, you know, it opens, Saturn rewards, right? It's the Lord of Karma, the dweller on the threshold. So it's like you reap what you sow. You put in this work, okay, I'm going to reward you. But how can you like gain rewards if you don't put any work in? So let's focus on that this week. Really getting into, you know, the flow of, you know, this Virgo energy. As always, I'm always recommending meditation with this, you know, with this emphasis in Virgo, Mercury correlating to the nervous system. Anxiety will be increased. Our nerves will be up. But you got to find alternatives to balance that. All right. So use the energy. Don't let the energy use you. All right? Or use you up, I should say. Seek balance. All right? So, y'all, this is my interpretation of this week's forecast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so now. Until next time, peace.